Good morning, Tampa Bay. What is going on? Happy hump day. You know what time it is. It's Wednesday, live Channelside in the morning, live on the Channelside Sports Network. We've got quite an array of topics, to discuss today. Got to make sure everything is good, Producers out of the building today. But we'll start with the most important thing, and I think I don't think anybody would disagree with this at all. Today is the first day for the Tampa Bay Lightning partnering with the United Way of Florida at Ford Thunder Alley to donate supplies for those impacted by Hurricane Ian. They're going to be collecting items in pods containers, which is actually going to be a pretty remarkable sight to see. Today marks the first day. Get down to Ford Thunder Alley. It is from 12 to 4. Tomorrow will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Friday will be 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday will be 11 to 5 for those who are working and unable to get there during the day. Priority collection items include non-perishable food items, water, baby formula and bottles, diapers, baby wipes, hygienic items, garbage bags, and feminine hygiene products. You can also bring things, like batteries and tarps, gas cans. They don't want gas, of course. Toilet paper, any sort of household essentials. Cell phone chargers made the list now as well, which to me makes sense. Cell phone signal down there. Obviously, if you know me, that's where I spent the vast majority of my life. However, this is a very serious thing for a lot of people down there. So it's definitely something that I'm happy that the Lightning are taking charge on. Again, how Jeff Vinnick is donating $2 million between himself and between the Lightning Foundation. They're also doing the Florida Strong auction, which we'll talk about, is on starts on October 8th. And it'll run through the second intermission of the regular season home opener, which of course is just 13 days away. We're less than 2 weeks away also from the regular season. Like, there's so much going on in sports right now that it's absolutely ridiculous. Of course, we'll tweet out the link if you are not familiar with how to get to the particular auction. There will be game-worn, team-signed helmets, game-worn jerseys, dinner for two with Rob Gronkowski at with Rob Gronkowski, and a private acoustic set with Locash. Look, there's so many good things going on, and I have to make sure that I kind of tread lightly when I say this, but man, Evan and I have talked about so many times that Jeff Vinnick really makes it hard for other sports organization owners. Does he not? Like, he really makes it difficult in the sense that the guy just cares so much. The guy gives back to the community so much. Downtown Tampa is essentially Lightning territory, period. We'll talk about the Buccaneers here in a little bit. And, obviously the NFL, in terms of overall popularity, the NFL pretty much runs on a 12-month calendar schedule at this point any longer. The draft has an entire month, basically 3 months. The month leading up to it, the draft, and then the month after that, free agency takes an entire month. Preseason, like, the NFL is literally on a 12-month schedule. The NHL, in terms of overall popularity, is not there. However, it is in Tampa because Jeff Vinnick has made it a priority, and he has made it, hey, we need to build this community up. I've talked about this before. How many times do you talk to people that live in this area now? because a lot of people that live in Florida aren't originally from Florida. Hi, myself included. But how many people are Lightning fans that are fans of teams from their hometown? Like, yeah, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm originally from Pittsburgh. I like the Pirates. I like the Steelers, but I'm a huge Lightning fan. They're not a Penguins fan and this is a testament because the Penguins are a good franchise. The Penguins are one of the teams over the last 12, 15 years that have actually won the cup back to back. So the Penguins are a good franchise. But they've just encompassed the emotion, the human emotion. Jeff Vinik and the Tampa Bay Lightning organization has done such a fantastic job at just encompassing everything that people care about. I've said this and I've been very adamant about this with everybody associated with Channelside. If you want to win the city, care about the community, help the children, help the community, help those in need. And Jeff Vinik does that. Every home game he donates. Like, there's so many positives about it. And it's realistically, you could say what you want in terms of being a hockey fan and, oh yeah, well, I hate the Lightning. But do you you hate the Lightning because they're good, but you can't hate the Lightning outside of the game of hockey because the organization from the ownership down gives you absolutely no reason to hate to hate them. They are a model organization. Imagine, because we know that sports realistically powers this country. In so much of what we do runs through sports. That's why when the Colin Kaepernick thing happened, when he decided to take a knee, to take a stand, no matter what side you're on, he did it because sports is the most powerful entity in this country. It is. It realistically is. So just imagine if even a third, a quarter, 25% of owners around the country in all different sports participated in the community and built up the community and built this like beloved, almost to the point where it's like a cult association with the fans, and helped those in need and did all of these positive things like Jeffrey Vinik does. Just imagine how much better off everybody would be. It's insane to me how much better everybody would be if even 25% of other sports owners acted like Jeffrey Vinik does. That would be, to me, that would be absolutely remarkable. Again, if you know me, I'm all about the community, especially, I think that's because that's the Detroiter in me. I think that's what kind of drives me to be so community oriented, is that the fact that I really strongly care about our community. But unfortunately not everybody is like that. And, especially with Hurricane Ian, obviously that really hits home, and that just makes things a little bit more, fruitful when I look and see like, man, like it really affects me. It really affects my friends, and this really affects my family, and it's really cool to see that, somebody that has no association with Southwest Florida is donating. Like, it's truly awesome. There's also an opening night ticket offer. So if you purchase a ticket between right now, not right now, after the show, if you purchase a ticket between 9 a.m. and 11:59 p.m., I believe it's tomorrow night, for the Lightning home opener to support the Hurricane Ian relief, a portion of each ticket purchase will go to the Lightning Foundation to add on top of that $1 million that they are already donating. Of course, obviously, we open our season up at home at Amalie on October 18th against the Philadelphia Flyers at 7 p.m. $5 from every 300 level ticket sold will be donated, and then at $10 will from every 100 or 200 level ticket will be donated as well. Once again, the Lightning win, and I really feel like the Lightning are really the benefactors of good karma. I mean, let's be can we be honest here? Like, I really think that the Lightning are kind of benefactors of good karma because Jeffrey Vinik just does so damn much. He's honoring the military vet. He does everything that you could possibly want an owner to do, and he's here. Evan and I have talked about that at nauseum over the summer months, early fall, about maybe that's the reason why the Tampa Bay Rays are not going to move to Tampa. Steve Sternberg does not want to be anywhere near associated with Jeffrey Vinik. The Buccaneers are doing their part. But once again, everything that the Bucs are doing is fantastic. Do not get me wrong. But it always seems like Jeffrey Vinik is looking at, okay, what are my other franchises in Tampa doing? Well, the Rays are going to do some stuff, but because they're across the causeway, they kind of can fly under the radar in terms of what they need to do. The Buccaneers are an NFL team. They're always going to be very strongly in the public eye, especially while Tom Brady is here, especially while they're a good team with pieces like Mike Evans and Shaq Barrett and Chris Godwin and such. But it always seems like Jeff Vinik is like, okay, so the Buccaneers are doing all of these great things. I need to level up. I need to one-up them. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, a little friendly competition to benefit those impacted by natural disasters, totally fine. I'm okay with it. Because people are going to benefit and those in need are going to benefit. It's not going to just benefit random folks that don't need anything, right? These people are struggling down there. The death toll is continuing to rise. It's going to take a long time to rebuild stuff. And I know what a lot of people are saying, and it's mainly like the trolls on the internet. Excuse me. But it's, there's a lot of money down. Yeah, but it's old money. It's old owned money. It's not young people money. It's not people from my generation that are sitting there thriving and living in multi-million-dollar homes. Sure, there's a few people that went to school, they got in the right career, and it just took off. And great for them. But there's so many trolls, and that's why, and it's not accurate. Honestly, it's not accurate. So when you're late, Jay in the chat, I'm late. I'm sorry. Yeah, you better be. Hopefully you're feeling well, buddy. It's disappointing in a sense, to see that people are using a disaster to troll the internet. But that's why you have teams like the Buccaneers and the Dolphins and the Jags banding together with their Florida Strong t-shirt drive. That's why you have Jeffrey Vinik donating so many people. I mean, so much money, so many. The amount of supplies, I can only imagine the amount of supplies that are going to be donated today through Saturday at Ford Thunder Alley. I can only imagine the amount of supplies that are going to be there. It's going to be absolutely insane. And, as somebody who grew up in Southwest Florida, I cannot thank the people of Tampa and Hillsborough and Pinellas and Pasco and whomever is going to come down there. I cannot thank any of you enough. It makes me, it gets you warm and fuzzy inside, doesn't it? I mean, it really does. It gets you warm and fuzzy inside knowing that people genuinely care. I mean, I'm all for it. We got to talk about the Bucks, guys. So I'm putting out, as you know, the Channelside Sports website is officially open. We are hiring. So if you are looking to be a beat writer, you must live in the Tampa Bay area because you're going to be part of our physical team, which includes media credentials and the whole 9 yards. But I've got an article that I'm writing right now about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and there's a lot. Look, I know the theme for so many people is don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. And I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I read you the offensive line grades yesterday. Not pretty at all. I mean, I even put together a little graphic for you. And they're not good. They're not good at all. Robert Hainsey is getting absolutely destroyed. Luke Gedeke has got a 25.9. Come on. I know he's a rookie, but I mean, you can't tell me that Aaron Steny was going to put up a 25.9. Maybe in the look, because if we're talking about jumping from, let's say Aaron Steny, and I don't have the number, I might be able to look it up to see while we're live here right now. I might be able to look it up. Let's see if I can't look this up real quick. I got to do it by position, regular and postseason. I just want to see what was Aaron Steny's pass blocking grade. Because here's the reason why I want to know. Because Luke Gedeke's got a 25.9. Aaron Steny last year, how many snaps did Aaron Steny play? Aaron Steny had the opportunity to block 50 times. Not a lot, but here's the thing. Aaron Steny had a 61.6 grade. You cannot tell me that we are seeing the Buccaneers struggle on offense this much if we're going from a 25.9 to a 61.6 grade. You cannot tell me that. I do not buy that one bit. I know Marpet's gone. I know Kappa's gone. This is what we have. This is what we have to do. I don't think that Luke Gedeke was going to beat out Aaron Steny. But, I mean, guys, we have to look at the factors here. Tom Brady, lowest time to throw in the NFL. You'll follow Channelside Sports. The article should be posted up a little bit later on this morning once I wrap it up. 2.20 seconds is his time to throw. Sure, there are some plays that are designed to get the ball out quicker. I totally get it. But not 2.20 seconds. Davis Mills is just behind him at 2.42. Davis Mills has 0.2 of a second longer to throw before he is planted on his backside. I mean, it's not good. And we have to be realistic. So for those who are going, well, it's not time to panic. It's still real early in the season. We love the NFL season because every game matters. This is why we love the NFL season, because every single game matters. Luke Gedeke has given up 11 pressures on Tom Brady. Robert Hainsey, 5 pressures. Donovan Smith, and look, we love Donovan Smith. He's been playing semi-injured. We get it, right? 4 pressures. 8 hurries from Luke Gedeke. 2 hits, 1 sack. Donovan Smith has given up a sack, 2 hits, 2 hurries, 4 pressures. Robert Hainsey, 0 sacks, 0 hits, but 5 pressures, 5 hurries. Brandon Walton giving up a sack, 2 hurries, 2 pressures. Shaq Mason, 0 sacks, 2 hits, 0 hurries, 2 pressures. And then Tristan Wirfs leading the way with an 84.9 grade, 0 sacks, 1 hit, 2 hurries, and 3 pressures. The thing we have to realize is somebody like a Tristan Wirfs or a Shaq Mason, the reason why their pressures are higher than they normally would be. Like Tristan Wirfs has an 84.9 grade, but he's given up 3 pressures because he has to accommodate for lackluster offensive line play from his teammates. We go from an 84.9 grade in Tristan Wirfs all the way down to a 65.1 with Shaq Mason. And Shaq Mason has not played poorly at all. But Shaq Mason, again, has to account for Brandon Walton not playing well, Robert Hainsey not playing well, and Luke Gedeke falling flat on his face right now. Sure, there's time to turn it on. There's time for things to turn around, but we have to look at it and be realistic. Like, guys, this is not where you want to be. This is why I've been so adamant when I say we could have an all Hall of Fame. We could have an all Hall of Fame wide receiving core out there. We could have Jerry Rice and Randy Moss, and we'll have Mike Evans out there and Terrell Owens, and we could put Barry Sanders in the backfield. And you know what's going to happen? The same results are going to happen because Tom Brady can't get the ball out. And it's not for Tom Brady. It's not saying that Tom Brady's fallen off the map. It's not saying that Tom Brady is not the GOAT. That's not what the conversation's about. The conversation is about the offensive line. We knew was going to be a struggle the moment Ryan Jensen went down, and it was never really addressed. And this is where we are. This is where we're currently standing as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 31st in the league in rushing yards, 65.3 yards per game. 65.3 yards per game. You've got Leonard Fournette. You've got Rachaad White. The Atlanta Falcons are averaging 168. Now, I know that's going to drop because Cordarrelle Patterson is gone for at least 4 weeks, but you're telling me that the Atlanta Falcons, you're telling me that Cordarrelle Patterson is that much better of a running back than Leonard Fournette is to average 100 where the team is now averaging 103 yards more? I mean, rushing is not good. Passing, the Buccaneers are, look, they improved. I mean, if you're looking for your silver lining, the Buccaneers improved in passing. They were 22nd. They're now 11th because Tom Brady had a hell of a game. But it still wasn't enough. You know, and now we've got people that are kind of, like crapping on the Buccaneers defense. And look, this is what we do as a fan base. I get it. You know, the Buccaneers are still a top 10 team in defense in total yards per game. The Buccaneers kind of dropped off in terms of passing a little bit. You know, they're what, top 12, top 15 now. Rushing, they're still top. Like, the Buccaneers defense is still holding up well. You can have a bad day at the office when you look on paper and say, we've got Tom Brady, we've got Mike Evans, we've got Julio Jones, we've got Chris Godwin, we've got Leonard Fournette. Like, when you look at the offensive weaponry, the defense can afford to have a bad day at the office. They should be able to afford to have a bad day at the office. It all starts up front. All of it starts up front. And we have to start figuring out what we're going to do, because it's going to be a very long season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if they do not get it together. I don't know if those Leonard Fournette rushed the ball 3 times against the Kansas City Chiefs. He had -3 yards rushing. This is our bell cow back. -3 yards rushing. Now, I don't know how. I don't think I need to tell you. I don't think I need to tell you about this. But it's not good. You can't afford to have your bell cow running back have that bad of a game. But here's what we have to look at though. Shaq Mason had an 83.3% grade. Donovan Smith 76.1. Tristan Wirfs 66.3. Robert Hainsey 64.9. Luke Gedeke 64.2. So the gaps that we're seeing are in the passing game. And some of me wants to start wondering, and I know I might get some flack for this, but some of me starts wondering, how much of the offense was Byron Leftwich really calling? How much of the offense was Byron Leftwich really calling when Bruce Arians was the head coach? And now I'm not saying that Byron Leftwich is incompetent. I'm not saying he needs to be fired. I'm not saying any of that, but I'm legitimately questioning how much of the offense Byron Leftwich was calling, because the majority of the team has been together. Jay in the chat says the team will click. It's just a matter of time, or just a matter of when. And that's true. But when? When is that actually going to come? That's the question, right? Is it going to come sooner rather than later? It needs to come sooner rather than later, because you're going to find yourselves in a heap of trouble. You're going to find yourselves in a heap of trouble. Yeah, like Jay again in the chat. Is Brady's personal life affecting his play on the field? Possibly. I mean, Brady still looks Tom Brady-ish. He looks a little slower, though. He looks like he's a 45-year-old quarterback. He doesn't necessarily look like the Super Bowl winning Tom Brady, like the 7 Super Bowl ring winning Tom Brady. He doesn't look like that. And I think that's the problem. But again, he's not getting a clean pocket. And that's the issue, is he doesn't have a clean pocket. The Bucs are still only allowing 17 points per game, guys. So the defense is not the question. It's all on the offense, which we never in a million years. And this is why it's so perplexing. And never in a million years, even after Ryan Jensen went down, did we think that the offense would essentially just fall apart. Bruce Arians is still here. Todd Bowles is still here. Byron Leftwich is still here. Tom Brady. And all of the offensive weaponry, all of the skill position players are still here. There's no way the offense just completely falls apart. But they do. They look like they have not gotten it together yet. And we've had a full training camp. We had a full preseason. They had all of these things at their disposal this year. Sure, Tom Brady took 11 days off. I don't think that those 11 days are really going to affect the outcome of how Tom Brady plays at this stage in his career. If Tom Brady is a third-year player, 11 days off in training camp probably has some sort of effect. But at this point, so much of the game for somebody who's played as long as Tom Brady has played, a lot of it realistically is just muscle memory at this point. Right? It's a luxury to have a guy like Mike Evans where you can throw up a 50-50 ball and know that probably 85% of the time Mike Evans is going to win that 50-50 ball. I'm sure that's a fantastic luxury to have. And, we talked a lot about we talked a lot about what Tom Brady was going to look like, right? I don't know how quickly I can pull them up, but remember we had our projections for what we thought Tom Brady was going to look like this season, and Tom Brady's going to break Peyton Manning's touchdown record. Tom Brady's going to do all of these fantastic things, and Tom Brady realistically has to put together an absolutely ridiculous stretch of games if he wants to break the Drew Brees record. If he wants to break Peyton Manning's touchdown record. You know, there's so many X factors and variables. I'm trying to pull up these were my projections, and these were all mathematically done. These were based off of what Tom Brady has done with Tampa. I projected 4,975 yards, 44 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It ain't looking like that, guys. And that's the scary part. It's not looking like that. Man, what did Jay in the chat say? Maybe Brady and Leftwich should ask BA to bring his red pen back and make those changes he did the last 2 years. The ones that caused the mythical rift. The rift that was factually happening, right? Yeah. But look, Brady could have broken Peyton Manning's touchdown record. He had the opportunity to break the touchdown record this year, and they've got the extra game. Everybody's pissing and moaning about the extra game. They had that opportunity. But, I mean, not at this stage. Tom Brady's not going to be able to do it at this stage. He's not able to perform well. You know, Tom Brady's completion percentage is up. You know, for everybody that was saying, "Oh yeah, we had bums playing against Green Bay," Tom Brady's completion percentage was up. Outside of Scotty Miller, who has shown us that he has no business being on the roster this season, outside of that, outside of Scotty Miller dropping 4 passes, every other wide receiver caught all but 1 target. Tom Brady is actually, I mean, if you look at his career completion percentage is 64.2. He's got a 68.4 right now. He's got 6 touchdowns and a pick. 6 touchdowns through 4 games isn't going to cut it. So you're not going to be breaking that Peyton Manning touchdown record. You're not going to do it. Is he going to break, you know, he can't break Drew Brees' record. His career average is 301 passing yards per game. He needed 300. Like, he needed to do all of these. Scotty Miller dropped a fleet. Right, yes. I mean, like, look, we can talk about, like, Tyler Johnson hasn't even made the roster, the active roster for the Houston Texans. But that's not to say that he doesn't hear. He already had a rapport, right? Like, he already had a rapport. Look, Tom Brady's averaging 264.5 yards per game. That's not, I mean, that's up there with some of the, like, that's, where's 2022? 2022 is right in the middle of the pack. That's not where you want to be if you're Tom Brady. You can't afford to be in the middle of the pack. And I know he's older. I know it's difficult, you know, like, but the expectations are high. You've got a $35 million cap hit for a quarterback who's likely not going to be here next year. That's problematic for me. That's problematic for looking at it and going, Jesus, guys, like, are we really going to struggle this hard on offense? Like, it doesn't make sense how hard they're struggling. It's such a difficult. It's so difficult, but I don't know. And I wonder, and I am wondering if Todd Bowles is the guy. I am wondering if Todd Bowles is the guy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know Todd Bowles is a defensive genius. He improved the Arizona Cardinals when he was there. He improved the New York Jets when he was there. He improved the Buccaneers. We know that Todd Bowles is a defensive genius. Todd Bowles is a fantastic interview. Todd Bowles is great at press conference. But is he the guy? It's so hard. It's so hard to determine if Todd Bowles is the guy and the head coach here because of the sputtering that we have seen from this team. I said it yesterday, and I'm going to continue to say it. There are still 14 more weeks. There are still 13 more games for this team to play. For anybody to sit there and tell you that they're panicking, they're crazy. But for anybody to sit here and say, it's only 4 games, you don't let anybody tell you that those 4 games do not matter, because the Buccaneers have failed to put together a complete game. The defense has shined while the offense has looked bad. The offense looked decent while the defense looked bad. They haven't put together a complete game yet. We got to figure it out. You know, the defense had one bad game, and now everybody's off the bandwagon for the defense. Skip Bayless. Oh, you can't run on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Chiefs got 200 yards. Yeah, I mean, whatever. The Chiefs are better than anybody thought. Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year was a bum. Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year was not good. Turned it on this year. Great. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is playing cleaner football this year. Through the first 7 weeks last year, Patrick Mahomes looked like he was regressing ridiculously hard. And he looks like he's okay now. Juju Smith-Schuster. Who else did they bring in? Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They're all stepping up. They're all filling in better than we thought. We thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to fall off a cliff when they traded Tyreek Hill because, all you're going to have to do is just double up on Travis Kelce. Let Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce beat you, because nobody's worried about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Nobody's going to be worried about the first year with Juju or the first year with MVS. Maybe the second year, but this year we're going to chalk it up as a loss. I've been on record several times saying I think the Chiefs will finish last in the AFC West. Little did I know Nathaniel Hackett was going to be arguably the worst head coach in the NFL. And the Denver Broncos were going to look absolutely atrocious. Hell, you think we've got issues? You think we've got issues with the Buccaneers? Look at the Broncos, man. The Broncos have no idea what is happening. And now they just lost Javonte Williams. Not good. Not good at all. I mean, the Broncos are averaging more offensive yards than the Bucs are. Not much. Broncos are averaging 335.8. Bucs are averaging 317.0. But there are things we have to consider, and there are things that you have to be at least a little bit concerned. And if you're telling me that you're not concerned, I'm going to tell you that you're out of your mind, because you need to be at least a tiny, tiny fraction of a bit concerned with what we've seen. Sure, we're 500. Sure, possibly 3-1. Maybe if Mike Evans plays against Green Bay. But the offense didn't play that poorly against Green Bay. It was the offensive line that played poorly across the board all season. You have to be a little concerned. And anybody that tells you that they're not, I'm telling you right now, anybody that tells you that they're not is they're out of their mind. They're absolutely out of their mind. If we go, let's do a little bit of this here. I'm doing on the fly research here because now I'm trying to figure out while I'm doing this and I'm talking and I'm talking to myself. So Tristan Wirfs is number 13 overall in terms of pass blocking. We've got to go. Jesus, I'm still scrolling. Hold on. I'm going to go. Let's go here. Well, of course, I'm on Pro Football Focus right now. I'm going to go 50% of 217 snaps to get like the actual whereabouts of these guys. So Tristan Wirfs, when I filter this down, Tristan Wirfs is the seventh, tied for seventh in terms of the best pass blocking with an 84.9. We are going to go. I'm still scrolling, guys. Shaq Mason is tied at 77. 77 for Shaq Mason at 65.1. You guys remember? You remember the numbers I gave you earlier, right? Brandon Walton's not even going to pop up on the list. Robert Hainsey is 92. Brandon Walton, like I said, will not pop up on the list. Guys, this isn't good. Luke Gedeke is 141. Luke Gedeke is dead last in terms of pass blocking. He is dead last. Aaron Steny wouldn't have been dead last. I mean, come on. We let's be a little bit realistic here. Aaron Steny would not have been dead last, but Luke Gedeke is dead last in terms of pass blocking. It starts up front, guys. It starts up front. I don't know how many more times we can say that it starts up front, and the Buccaneers need to start addressing somebody. They need to address this. They need to get on the phone with somebody. They need to be on the phone with and for all we know, they could be on the phone with agents, right? For all we know, they could be. The Bucs only have $3.3 million in cap space. Now, I've you know me, I'm a salary cap. I love doing the salary cap. You can restructure some contracts. You know, I still do not know why Donovan Smith's contract has not been restructured. You're going to save $7 million if you just do a regular base salary restructure. You're going to save $7 million. Mike Evans, we know, restructures his contract pretty much weekly at this point in his career because he's a team guy. Mike Evans wants the team to play as good as possible. He wants the team to play the best that they can play. There's moves that you can make. You can almost completely clear Tom Brady's dead cap hit next year by restructuring some of your contracts right now. Is that in hopes for Lamar Jackson? 100% it's in hopes for Lamar Jackson, but we also have to be realistic about that. He's probably going to get franchise tagged. Do I think that he's going to sign the franchise? I don't know if. Look, we're seeing guys now. We're seeing a lot of players now be okay with saying, "Hey, I'll sit out. I don't want to. You don't want to give me the money? I'll sit out. I'm not interested in this." And excuse me. It's a thing. It's a realistic scenario that the Buccaneers or the Ravens could be looking at of Lamar Jackson going, "Yeah, but you know what? I don't want to sign the franchise tag." I saw what Deshaun Watson's been given. I'm putting together an MVP season right now. And that's the best that you're going to offer me without a true wide receiver one. I'm telling you, could you imagine? Imagine. And this right now, this is perfect timing because Tom Brady's got 2.2 seconds to throw the ball before he is under duress. 2.2 seconds to throw the ball. Lamar Jackson has 3.2. Lamar Jackson has a whole extra second. Imagine because Lamar Jackson can scramble. Lamar Jackson is a scrambler. Just imagine for just a moment Lamar Jackson behind our offensive line currently with our offensive skill position players. Just imagine that for just a second. You don't even need to address the offensive line at that point because you've now got a dual threat quarterback. And it doesn't have to be Lamar Jackson. It could be any dual threat quarterback, but just put them in Tom Brady's place right now. And this is not saying that Tom Brady is not still a good quarterback, but we've like put a dual threat QB there. What happens? The offense immediately looks better because the quarterback does not have to stay in the pocket if he's a dual threat quarterback. Tom Brady is a pocket passing quarterback, and if the offensive line is failing to keep a clean pocket for Tom Brady and unfortunately giving him the lowest time to throw average in the NFL, what are we talking about? Any dual threat quarterback. Maybe the Buccaneers make a trade in the offseason and try to move up in the draft and get one of the commodity quarterbacks. Because you don't want to waste Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Leonard. You don't want to waste all the skill position players because Brady's gone, Gabbert's gone. Trask has got to be a non-factor. Unless something really clicks for him while he's riding the pine and watching. I would assume it's not going to click for him this year. And it's to know, and you guys know how I feel about Kyle Trask. But this is to no detriment of Kyle Trask. This is not me demeaning Kyle Trask in the least bit. This is the worst year if you're Kyle Trask and you're trying to figure out how to get up to NFL game speed. Because nothing looks good on offense for the Buccaneers right now. Got to be realistic about where we are. You know, like this is. We have to look. We have to be cognizant of the issues as fans, right? This isn't Danny, who worked for a national news outlet, having to toe the line accordingly. This is Danny, the fan, who owns Channelside Sports and can speak whatever the hell he wants and speak freely. You've got to be realistic and you've got to be cognizant that there are offensive struggles for this team. And the way it looked on Sunday, the defense cannot afford a bad day at the office. Atlanta should be a get-right game, but don't sleep on Atlanta. Cordero Patterson is gone for, a minimum of 4 weeks now on IR. Atlanta's probably going to regress, but you still cannot sleep on the Atlanta Falcons because you have all of these question marks on your own team. All of these question marks on our own team. I don't know if anybody has looked at this, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were second favorite to win the Super Bowl all along. It was Buffalo Bills number 1, Tampa Bay number 2. Tampa Bay is now 5th in Super Bowl odds according to DraftKings. You've got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, Packers, and then Bucks. Yes, the Green Bay Packers with no wide receivers are now listed ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Green Bay Packers with no wide receivers but a solid offensive line are listed ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're figuring out ways to get it done. And yes, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are arguably the best running back duo in the NFL. Totally get that. Totally understand that. But this team has dropped from 2nd to 5th. Vegas is not believing in it. Vegas, sure, are we buying into the Eagles hype? I don't think that the Eagles are hype. I've been saying this all offseason, all throughout training camp, throughout the first 4 weeks of the season. I don't believe that the Eagles are just hype. I think they are the best put together roster. They are the most complete team in the NFL. They more complete than the Buccaneers. Yes. Do we have better skill position players in terms of Mike Evans and Chris? Sure. Yeah, we do. But by how much? If we're being totally realistic, but by how much? The gap between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, it's not that big. And right now, I mean, obviously, Chris Godwin missed a few games, but it's not that big, and it's because Tom Brady cannot get them the ball. 5th in the Super Bowl odds, down from 2nd place. I mean, if you're still believing in the Bucks, go ahead, throw some money down on them. But I mean, that's not a bet that I'm willing to take at this. Well, hold on. Let's let before I totally put my foot in my mouth here. Let's if we were to put some money down here, let's see here. If we put some money, the Buccaneers are plus 1,200. So if you put $100 down, you're gonna win 1,300. So you're not. I mean, you're not really gonna win much. But I mean, the 49ers are creeping up at 1,400, and that's with Jimmy Garoppolo, man. That's with Jimmy G at quarterback. The Bills are still plus 400. That's why I wasn't concerned about the Bills when they lost to the Dolphins, because the Dolphins are much better than people are giving them credit for. The Dolphins are now in the top 10 in Super Bowl odds. When was the last time the Miami Dolphins were top 10 in Super Bowl odds, guys? The Buccaneers, you got to figure it out. What the Bucs need to do is they need to come out on Sunday and they need to just demolish the Atlanta Falcons. I know that they're a rebuilding team. Look, I don't want the Bucs to demolish the Packers or the Chiefs. I want the Bucs to demolish the teams that they're supposed to demolish. Because if you do that to the Packers, or you do that to the Chiefs, or you do that to the Eagles, something probably happens, right? Because you don't just run over other good teams. You beat other good teams. I want them to absolutely run over the Atlanta Falcons. I realistically want them to run over the Atlanta Falcons, show that this is a get-right game, show that they were able to overcome things. They were able to start figuring things out, because I want to believe. I want to believe that Luke Gedeke, that Robert Hainsey are struggling because they don't have any positive momentum to build on. I want this to be a get-right game for our offensive line to say, hey, Atlanta's defense, not the greatest, but we were able to get some things done. Where's Atlanta's defense is in? They're in the bottom third of the league. They're in the high 20s. There's only 32 teams in the NFL. So play the way that you're supposed to play against a poorly rostered defense. Play the way that you're supposed to. Run them over. Let Leonard Fournette get a bounce back. Let Leonard Fournette eclipse the century mark again. Let Tom Brady have more than 2.2 seconds in the pocket so he can start getting acclimated and he can start figuring it out and feeling better about himself. I'm sure all of the stuff, the reports of divorce lawyers being hired and all of this, true, false, indifferent, whatever. The reports are, people aren't just completely making them up. It's coming from somewhere. Somebody along the line said something, and now everybody's running with the report. I'm sure that some of this stuff is affecting Tom Brady. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that Tom Brady is affected in some way, shape, or form on the field or mentally by things that are going on. If I was in Tom Brady's position, hell, I've been with my wife for nearly 13 years now, right? Like, if I'm in that position, my mind's not clear. My head's not clear. It doesn't matter if I'm the greatest quarterback of all time. My head's not clear. greatest Tampa Bay morning show host of all time, and my head wouldn't be clear. Ugh. There's a lot of things going on, and we've got to be realistic. That's all. That's what it boils down to. The word of the day is realistic. Just be alert. Just be aware. Things are going on. Things are not as pretty. Tomorrow, obviously, we're going to run through our slate of games, starting with Thursday night. Do not forget, if you missed main event last night with Primetime Pelly and Radio John, hit up the YouTube channel, watch the replay of it. Channelside bets live Sundays at 11:30 a.m. with L. Bushman, Nikki, and Chip. Of course, you can follow us on all of the social media platforms. Just search for the Channelside Sports Network. Thank you for... We didn't win. We didn't win Best of the Bay for Best Morning TV Show. I mean, I didn't expect to win. The nomination was cool enough, guys. The fact that we made that as a nomination, we made it into the top 10. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I don't know where we finished. To be frank, I don't care where we finished. I'm 100% a Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last kind of guy. But the honor of being nominated to me is truly remarkable, and it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, if you are interested in joining the Channelside Sports team, hit us up. Go to channelsidesports.com/jobs. Fill out an app and let us know where exactly you want to be. We are requiring video submissions. I need to make sure that you've got a personality, man. Not just the writer. I don't care what you look like. You could look like my left foot. Actually, I think my right foot looks worse. But you could look like a foot. I don't care. But we need personality. We need you to be able to write. We need you to be able to talk and be comfortable talking, because we are Tampa Bay's only digital-first sports brand. And that will do it for us today. I am Danny. Make sure you keep it locked. Channelside Sports Network for all of the latest around Tampa Bay. I'll see you again tomorrow. I promise we will talk more Orlando Magic. We will talk some Florida Gators, and we will not just rant about the Bucs offensive line. And by we, I mean me. I will see you tomorrow on a Thursday edition of Channelside in the Morning. I'm Danny.